All right, let's jump right in. We're going to be looking at a really revolutionary idea about one of literature's masterpieces, Goethe's Iphigenia in Tauris. And what's so cool about this is that our source isn't some modern take. Nope, it's a critical analysis from Goethe's own time, from right inside his circle. And they saw something totally radical happening inside this play that, on the surface, looks so traditional.
You know, when we hear Greek tragedy, our minds pretty much go to one place: inescapable fate. We picture these heroes who are basically just pawns in a huge cosmic chess game being played by moody gods, right? Their destinies are sealed from the get-go, and the whole drama is just watching them crash into a wall they can't even see.
But here's where it gets interesting. Our source asks this amazing question. What if a writer could take that ancient, super rigid structure of a Greek tragedy and use it like a Trojan horse to sneak in a brand new, totally modern idea? An idea that says the most powerful force out there isn't fate, it's not the gods, it's the moral strength of one single person.
And boom, this one line just nails the entire argument. The real action in Goethe's play isn't happening on some mythical Greek island. The real drama, all the conflict, it's all unfolding inside the minds and hearts of the characters. The true stage is the human conscience.
Okay, so let's dig into this first big idea. This huge shift from an ancient external worldview to a modern internal one, all happening inside the shell of a classical play.
So this slide just lays out the transformation perfectly. On the one hand, you've got classic Greek tragedy. The driving force? It's always fate, something from the outside. The conflict happens at a physical place, like an altar. And the gods? They're major players in the story. But then, look at Goethe's version. The driving force becomes internal character. The battlefield moves from the altar into the heart. And the gods, they've gone completely silent. This is exactly why the source calls it a seelen drama, a soul drama.
And that is the whole game changer. So while Goethe might have dressed his play up in ancient Greek clothes, its heart is beating with a totally different rhythm. The source argues it's fundamentally un-Greek because it swaps out that old machinery of fate for this new enlightened idea of humanity, or humanitate.
So let's talk about our protagonist, Iphigenia, because she's not just a character in this new world. She's basically the engine driving its whole moral compass.
Now, to really get her, we have to understand this key philosophical idea from the time, the Shona Sele, or the beautiful soul. This isn't just about being a good person. It's this ideal state where what you should do and what you genuinely want to do are one and the same. There's no inner conflict. Your duty feels as natural as breathing. And Iphigenia, she's the perfect embodiment of this.
And we see this incredible power in action at the play's climax. Her friend, Pylades, comes up with a very logical, very sensible plan. Lie to the king, grab the statue, and run. It's the old way of the world, right? Do what you have to do to survive. But Iphigenia, she refuses. She bets everything on telling the pure, unvarnished truth, believing that her own moral integrity is a more powerful weapon than any trickery.
And this quote tells us exactly why. It's not about being stubborn or naive. For her, the stakes are completely internal. To tell a lie wouldn't just be a bad move. It would be an act of self-destruction. It would literally shatter the very core of who she is, that beautiful soul.
Okay, so if Iphigenia is the new ideal, let's look at her brother, Orestes. He's the perfect case study for this shift away from external forces and toward internal psychology.
All right, check this out. In the original Greek stories, Orestes is haunted by the Furies, and we're talking about literal, terrifying monsters chasing him down. The only way to get rid of them was through some big divine ritual. But in Goethe's hands, the Furies get a total makeover. They become phantoms of his own broken mind, what the source calls the hypochondria of the soul, just a brilliant phrase. And the cure? It's not a god. It's the simple, healing human presence of his sister.
And the takeaway from this is just massive for its time. That ancient family curse that's been tormenting Orestes, it's not some external magical force. Its power comes entirely from his own belief in it. It's only as real as he allows it to be in his own mind. The second he's healed psychologically, poof, the curse is gone.
So you've got this internal struggle, this new moral power, this psychological healing, and all of it pushes the play toward an ending that completely flips the whole genre on its head.
The source makes a really important distinction here between two German words. This play isn't a Trauerspiel, that's your classic tragedy, where the hero is doomed to collide with some absolute, unstoppable force and get crushed. Instead, Goethe wrote a Schauspiel, which is more like a drama of redemption,
where that final, catastrophic crash is avoided through understanding and humanity.
And here's the perfect proof of that. The antagonist, the quote-unquote barbarian King Thawas, isn't killed. He's not overthrown. He's faced with Iphigenia's radical honesty and, instead of reacting with violence, he's convinced. He's educated. The conflict gets resolved with words, not with swords.
And the play's very last line, lept vol, which means farewell, isn't a sad goodbye. It's more like live well. It's a statement of mutual respect. It signals this new kind of world where people who were once enemies can see each other's humanity and part as equals.
But the analysis doesn't just end on that happy, optimistic note. It leaves us with one last, really challenging thought to chew on. The play gives us this incredibly beautiful ideal, right? This idea that the old, vicious cycles of history and revenge can actually be broken, not with more fighting, but by the simple, powerful act of a single, pure human voice speaking the truth.
And yet, the source then turns around and asks us to wonder, is this profound harmony a real possibility we can strive for, or is it just a philosophical wish? Is it truly believable that the king would just change his mind? In the real, savage, complicated world of history, would a pure voice speaking truth really be enough? It's a question about idealism versus reality, and the play just leaves it there for us to answer.